Hello, I'm Alison Hargreaves from guidesforbrides.co.uk. Last night's government announcement confirmed that approved venues will be able to hold civil ceremonies and civil partnerships from the 4th of July, and it won't just be restricted to register offices and places of worship. They've also published detailed guidance on how they recommend these ceremonies take place. This is just for ceremonies at the moment, not receptions. And couples are quite perplexed as to why receptions can't take place. And I think this is where we can thank those many venues who gave very detailed responses to our survey very early on in lockdown. As a result of that, the government have been aware throughout that if there are 20 or less guests, 85% of venues would be forced to run at a loss. If there are 50 guests or less, only 66% of venues are able to break even. This is breaking even, not make a profit. And that you needed a 70% capacity before the majority of venues could operate at a profit. So the government are very aware of this. They're not wanting to jeopardise venues and were very, very aware they needed to find a way to start opening up the wedding industry without forcing venues to operate at a loss. And we think this is a really creative way that they have achieved that. What it's going to do is it will allow venues to encourage couples to have sequel weddings. So a sequel wedding is where they perhaps have just the ceremony now and they're slightly locked in with you to come back and have the full celebration later. So it'll be a matter of working with these couples, finding a way to make that work. It's important to be aware that there is no requirement at all for you to carry out weddings. So if you choose to remain closed, there is no risk of compensation claims against you for not allowing that wedding to take place. So again, we're really, really grateful to the government that they have included that as a clause. You will notice that there is a requirement for track and trace. The government were aware late last week that we had developed software that would allow that, and we were making that freely available to all of our venues in order to help the industry open up. They pushed that through very, very fast. We had a call from the Cabinet Office at 9 o'clock yesterday morning to say it was going to be approved and catalogued, and later on that morning it was catalogued. So that is now on the service catalogue of approved software to be able to use to help your venue. So freely available to all of our venues. You will also be aware that the government is encouraging remote participation. They're not stopping the over 70s attending, and they're not stopping those that are shielding. They are advising them against them. However, there is a requirement that anyone who should be self-isolating, including those that have been contacted by NHS track and trace, can't attend, and they're encouraging them to remotely participate. Again, they are aware that we have software ready to go that can help that happen. So live streaming software that can securely transmit from your venue. It's a great marketing tool as well, because people will be able to see inside your venue and see what you're doing online. While we're working with the government, we are also working very closely with the CMA, so previously the Office of Fair Trading, and we are aware that quite a few venues are facing some really challenging situations with weddings later on this year, that couples are wanting to postpone when perhaps they shouldn't be, or that you're not wanting them to go ahead and they're trying to force you. There's some really, really tricky conversations there, and as a result, we are setting up a private group that will be launched today. 80% of you had said Facebook would be the preferred option, and certainly we feel that's the way that we can be absolutely sure it is only venues that are allowed into that group. It will only be open to those venues we're already working with. So if you're not listed on Guides for Brides and you're wanting to join that group, you will need to be recommended by another venue that is listed on Guides for Brides. We want to be absolutely sure it is only venues within that group. So we are going to be doing all we can to carry on helping you and supporting you. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this video this morning. If you've got any questions, please don't hesitate to email me, alison@guidesforbrides.co.uk. Thank you very much.